Oh, hi there. Welcome to the Famicom Dojo video game podcast, where every week we bring you a new episode, or at least new to video, right here on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Wisconsin's kind of been blanketed under 3 feet of snow in the middle of April, and it's playing havoc on my sinuses. So I'm just sitting here playing some Star Fox 2. And we realize not everyone can play Star Fox 2, so as a thank you to our listeners, you still have a few weeks left to enter our free giveaway for an SNES Classic Edition. I'll wipe it down before I send it to you. So if it's not yet May 2018 and you're part of the time stream, you still have a chance to win. I'm gonna get back to it. Enjoy the episode. Do a barrel roll.
You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
I'm Sean the Orange Course, a retro game fan from the U.S.
And I'm Kevin Vinnk Tambernino, an import gaming fan who took things one step further and moved to Japan.
Together, we make Famicom Dojo, a podcast that explores the Japanese origins of today's video games and consoles.
And speculates about their future, assuming they have one.
It's modern games with a retro twist.
This is the Famicom Dojo Video Game Podcast.
This week we've invited the director of Call of Duty, the short film, not the video games, to talk about his retro homebrew projects and his many awesome films which you can totally watch if you go to our show notes. We also have Alternating Future Retro and Pile of Shame. Pretty sure that's a first. I think it's a first. It's probably a first.
Yes, we were born to play all these video games. Let's say we are Famicom Dojo. Oh God, thank you for these video games.
Okay, I'm Vinnk, and this is the Famicom Dojo Video Game Podcast. Sitting in for Sean, who we fired earlier this week, is Joe Grisaffi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Grisaffi. I'm sitting in for Sean, who got fired last week, apparently.
Yes.
What?
Oh,
I did?
Oh, this is awkward. Did we forget to take Sean off the group call? I mean, hey, Sean!
Hi!
Happy to step down.
Vinnk?
Joe, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Sean, how good of you to join us.
Yeah, hey, Joe. Long time no interface.
Kidding. We chat on Facebook quite often, but
right?
Haven't actually heard your voice in a long time. Both of you.
This is weird.
True.
This is great.
But yeah, it's really good to hear your voices, and I really appreciate you inviting me on the podcast.
Oh, no problem. We're always glad to have you. Some of you may know Joe Grisaffi from actually, Joe, why don't you tell people what you do?
Well, I am an actor and filmmaker in Houston, Texas. I am also a retro game collector.
All right.
And you put me in one of your videos quite a while back.
Yes.
With Vectrex. It was about the Vectrex. And I showed off my 3D imager.
Yes, for like 2 seconds before we cut away from you. which is how we treat our guest stars, I have to say.
We should probably do a better job.
Yes. We really do want you to come back. I mean, like, we would love to have you come back and do a little bit more about that, because we are doing a third part to that 3D special. But
I would love to participate. I love the Vectrex, so anything Vectrex I'd love to talk about.
Yeah. So you have a fairly extensive game collection yourself, right?
I do. I've been collecting games. Well, I grew up I was a kid in the late 70s, so we had Atari. Yeah. I actually still have some of our original Atari stuff that we're original owners of. My collection spans from the mid 70s to present day. I think I have maybe like 6,000 pieces in the collection.
Wow.
Was that all?
Game consoles. That also includes some other items. Like I collect arcade stuff, so I have several dozen, if not over 100
Oh yeah.
original arcade keys.
Did you ever get that MVS up and working?
I did not. I haven't even fooled with it. It's in the garage, and I'm probably gonna sell it.
Sell it to Sean.
What? I can't afford it. I have nowhere to put it. Wait till I move first.
All right.
This particular one's not going to be that expensive. It's just a 1-slot Neo
okay.
Geo.
Okay.
Not. I mean, I'd be lucky to get $200 for it, I think.
Sean, you can afford that.
Probably costs more to ship it.
Come down here. Yeah. Oh yeah. It'll cost you like $300 to ship it.
But no, that's really cool. You had a collection of pinball machines at one time too, right?
I still do.
Oh,
I still
really?
do. That's part of that 6,000. I have 15 pinball machines.
Oh my goodness.
Only 4 of them are at my house. The rest are in storage right now. But I have 15 pinball machines and I think 30 upright arcade games.
Oh, that's amazing. You got a favorite?
Do have a favorite. My favorite that I own is Crazy Climber.
I helped to track down some Crazy Climber stuff in the
You
past.
did.
Yeah.
You did. So my favorite that I own is Crazy Climber.
Mm.
But up there, I also have a Star Wars.
Oh, really?
I have,
The Atari Star Wars.
The Atari Star Wars,
Okay.
1984,
Nice.
82, 84, and then Crystal Castles would be those would be my top 3.
Wonderful game.
Crystal Castles is so good. It's so underrated and so underappreciated.
Strangely enough, the minute you said Crystal Castles, I got the smell of pizza in my brain because it was at this pizzeria near my house, and I cannot separate the two things at this point in my life.
Isn't that weird how that happens?
Yeah.
You get a memory of something
Yeah.
cues a memory, and it's just you're there suddenly. Like you hear a song. When I hear certain songs on the radio, I can picture myself at an arcade at a specific time in my life playing a very specific game. You know, it's memory is weird like that.
Yeah, like when I hear Pac-Man Fever, I think about Galaga because my arcade didn't have Pac-Man. No, sorry.
Oh.
no, just kidding. But yeah, crazy how things are connected like that. Well, anyway, I guess that's what we're going to kind of talk about today because we're going to talk about the forces of nostalgia that are so strong that lead people to do things that are not practical in any way.
That's me.
Because, I mean, like, I know a lot of people have thought, man, I really loved playing the Atari back in the day. Wouldn't it be cool if they still made Atari games?
That would be incredible if they still did. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Some people still do. You can sponsor an episode of the Famicom Dojo video game podcast. Just go to littlepodcast.com, find Famicom Dojo, and click the sponsor button. Check out with PayPal or a credit card, and let us know what wonderful thing we should say about you, our lovely sponsor, in this space.
I think segueing into a homebrew discussion.
Yes.
I was blown away when I started researching homebrews. I knew they were being made. Some 15 years ago, I remember going to a gaming convention in Las Vegas, and I saw homebrews, and I had never seen them before in person. I think that's fascinating, but they were charging. They wanted $30 or $40 a piece.
Yeah.
I was like, I was still in that garage sale mindset that everything should be $1. You know. That's another subject. I've missed out on a lot of deals because I started collecting at a time when people were giving this stuff away.
Yep.
And it took me a long time to get out of that mindset, so I missed a lot of really good deals because I didn't want to spend a lot of money.
No, I know what you mean.
In my mind.
I know what
But
you mean.
yeah, when I discovered this homebrew scene, I was blown away. And then I discovered the website AtariAge.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I know it. I've got a button. I've got an AtariAge logo button on my backpack that I got from Midwest Gaming Classic a long time ago.
Albert and those guys are doing some incredible stuff with that old technology.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if if Atari could make the games as well as these guys are making them now, they would
Oh.
be like Nintendo.
Yeah, that's,
But I know the difference is
yeah,
when the
of course.
technology was new and they had to pump out these games with deadlines, and of course the homebrew guys don't have deadlines.
Yeah.
It can
Right,
take as
right.
long as they want to perfect. And
Is
that's
there-
the difference.
I mean, when
40 years
when
of hindsight, too.
When I hear when I hear Atari Homebrew, the first one that jumps into my mind is Halo 2600.
Oh, that's fantastic. When I
Because-
saw that for the
yeah.
first time, that's cool. Even if it's just fake art, that's cool. But then I played the game.
Yeah, it's surprisingly. I mean, like, it's not a joke game. It's
Right. It's a
real game. It's good.
It's a game designed, programmed by Ed Fries, I think is his name, who used to work or he was one of the higher ups at Microsoft.
Oh,
so
he actually
had-
has that connection. Okay.
Yes, he has that connection. He had permission to do it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Permission to do it. It's not an official Microsoft product, but
Obviously.
they know about it.
Sean, have you seen this?
I have only heard of its reputation.
You should at least watch a YouTube video of it just so you can see the title screen.
Oh, man.
Watch
Okay.
the YouTube video, but Tom is out there for free.
Yeah.
And I think they knowingly, willingly made it available for free. All the collectors are still buying physical copies because it's just
Of
the
course.
physical copy of Halo 2600 is
Yeah.
just kind of cool. But yeah, you can get that ROM for free
Yeah.
and play it on your PC or Mac.
And you should. It's really fun. Oh my gosh. Now thinking about playing Atari games, I'm remembering back to, was it No Brand Con 3? This is what, 2002 or something?
I think I first came up there in 2002.
But we had a room party, and you had brought some of your old gear, and we played Warlords.
Yes, I
Just-
remember
just-
that. I remember taking a big plastic tub of Atari stuff up there.
We played-
Four-player Warlords
Yep.
is still a great party game.
Oh man, yeah, it's
There's two friends in Houston who actually have an original four-player Warlords cocktail arcade game.
oh really?
And at every party, you can't get people off it.
Oh, I would imagine so. I mean, that game just holds up so well.
Because it's so simple but it's so competitive.
Yeah.
Especially when you get four people playing it. I think, and that's what I think a lot of new games are missing is just the simplicity, the simplicity of it all.
Yeah. And I guess that's one of the that simplicity and the forced simplicity that needs to be made into some of these games is what I think is bringing people into this collecting the retro and of course making new retro games.
Yes.
I
think there's a lot that that's going into the whole retro thing. Of course, nostalgia is one.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I know there's some spectacular, obviously there's some incredible games now that are new for the PS4 and the Xbox One, just some amazing stuff. But everybody is so pressed for time. You don't have a whole lot of time to do these things if you're working, if you're trying to do other things. So for me, that's why I fall back on retro, because I can get my fix in 5 or 10 minutes. I can sit down and play a game for 5 or 10 minutes and be completely satisfied.
Yeah.
Or if you play, and the retro games, you can keep playing them.
Oh yeah.
They're not story based.
Yeah, although some of them, I remember that some of those old games, the NES games, and even some of the Atari games had like tie-in comic books and novels, though, that actually did give you a story.
Oh yeah,
behind those games, which
so
I thought was
Atari
fascinating.
had the Sword Quest series.
Yes. Wasn't
And
it?
you had to have the comic book to play the game because there were clues in the book to solve things in the game.
And wasn't it a contest, like the one who could solve it the first would like win a prize, or like
there were 4 games in the series. I don't know the sequence, but it was Earthworld, Fireworld, Water World, and I think the fourth one was going to be Air World.
Yeah.
And the Air World was the one that never got made.
Yeah. And Waterworld was made, but it cost $100 million to make. And,
yeah, and as for collectors, Waterworld is the expensive one out of the set. The other two are just common games you can get for $1, but Waterworld I think is up in the $100 or a couple $100 range. And Airworld, the final version the final story never got released.
Yeah.
So this competition never ended, but there was a prize. I think it was a $25,000 prize or a prize that was worth $25,000. And if I recall correctly, it was in a chalice, actual gems, a metal chalice, a real prize that was valuable.
Yeah.
And somebody has that. It's out there. The prize exists.
So you saying that the gaming holy grail might be a holy grail?
Gaming is a holy grail.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that's just to know that someone has that. I would love to see something like that go up for auction.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just watch. I think people went nuts over the ET excavation.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, because that was like no one knew if that was a real thing or not for sure, right?
What's that?
It was an urban legend, right? Like no one knew for sure if it was true, and then they finally actually found everything.
Those of us that grew up in the era believed it.
Yeah,
I always believed that stuff was buried.
I always hoped it was.
Right. But yeah, it became an urban legend because of all the generations that have passed before they dug it up.
You're still alive.
How many generations have passed?
Console generations.
Oh, okay.
It's 4. I mean, 4 human generations, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose. That's true. That's true.
But the console generations,
yeah,
even more.
So we talked about the Halo 2600. Do you have any other Atari homebrews you like?
I do. Star Castle was released recently.
Oh. And
it's pretty arcade accurate for an Atari 2600 game. Do you remember Star Castle, the Vector game by Cinematronic? It's pretty accurate for what.
That seems like a kind of an ambitious game to do with the limitations of.
It sounds like it was. And there's I don't know the whole story behind it, but it's like it was there's several of these projects that get released these days on the Atari 2600.
Yeah.
There were several of them were projects that were supposedly in development at Atari back in the day. And they just stopped the projects. And these programmers some of them are even the original programmers picking up where they left off.
Yeah.
I think Star Castle was one of those.
Oh my goodness! I'm watching a video of it right now. This is actually really impressive.
Yeah, and what I like about they incorporated high score save on this 2600 cartridge.
Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, they couldn't do it back then, or it would have been too expensive. And now you can do it with flash memory and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now I have an Atari 2600 game that I can play and constantly try to beat my score without having to keep track of it on paper.
Or taking Polaroids of the screen.
Oh, yeah, we did that. We did that often. In my small collection of Atari games that I've had since I was a kid.
Yeah.
We'd take, I don't know if you remember Betamax tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Every Betamax tape had a set of stickers, a side label with lines on it. I would take those stickers and put them on the back of my Atari cartridges so I could keep track of my scores.
Nice.
So I think I have like 15 cartridges from my childhood, and all of them have the sticker on it that has Joe's high scores.
I used to take photos of them with just a Kodak like 35 millimeter camera.
Right.
And the terrible thing is you had to wait till the film was the roll was done to get them developed. So and since you're taking a photo of a CRT, it may or may not actually show up. So I had to wait till I got them back to see if I had any proof of my high scores whatsoever.
No, right. But you also, do you remember Activision?
Yes, the patches.
Activision. Yeah, you made a certain score. You had to take a picture of your screen, send it off to get patches.
That was a little before my my time, unfortunately.
But just like you
but
said,
I know
you
of
take
them.
the-
Yeah.
You had to take the picture,
Yep.
and you don't know if you actually took a picture,
Yep.
or the picture doesn't come out because of the processing time, and you
Yep.
didn't want to take one shot and then go waste 23 shots to go get it done right away.
I was
Because
taking.
it wasn't
Yeah.
cheap.
No,
Wasn't
not
at
at
the
all.
time.
I was taking pictures to try to get in Nintendo Power at the time.
Right.
But the problem is, by the time we actually got the film developed and everything like that, that game is no longer, in the circulation of the one that they're showing scores for. So it never worked.
Publication wants a different game now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my! Oh, I didn't know they had. This Star Castle is amazing.
It is. And last year they released a game called Zippy, the porcupine.
Oh,
Can you guess what it's a port of?
I'm taking a guess that would be a Sonic.
Yes, it's Sonic Hedgehog on the 2600. And
Oh.
like the Princess Rescue, it's pretty great.
You have Princess Rescue, don't you?
I was lucky enough to grab a Princess Rescue, yes.
Can you tell everyone who might not be aware of what this is?
Princess Rescue is a Super Mario Brothers port for the Atari 2600.
Not Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers. It may actually be the first side-scrolling platform game on the 2600.
I think maybe Smurf. Oh, but that was screen by screen, right?
Smurf was screen by screen. You left the right side.
Yeah, you're right.
And that alone apparently is a big deal. I'm not a programmer.
Yeah.
I have been working with programmers lately, but apparently the side-scrolling platformer on the 2600 is a big deal because of the old technology.
Yeah.
And the capability of the machine.
Yeah, I do not have this cart, but I have seen videos of it before. So now I can't get the cart, right? Like I've missed my window, right?
Right. It's, to the best of my knowledge, AtariAge no longer sells that cartridge, and I think it was because of a letter they received from Nintendo.
Yeah, because they're worried about the competition coming in.
I don't think a 2600 game is going to affect any Nintendo sales. But being in the film business, I understand it.
Of course.
Because you have to protect your trademark.
Yeah, if you don't, anybody can use it.
Yeah, if you let that slide, then when someone else really does infringe on you, you don't have any.
Yeah.
You may not be able to defend it because you let someone else slide.
Yeah. But maybe Sega will let that one go because I don't think they ever plan to make a good Sonic game again anyway. So.
But the artwork for the Princess Rescue game, it was clearly Mario.
Of course.
And you got to kind of be a fool to not get that box art for Porcupine.
Well, yeah,
Zippy is Sonic. So yeah, it just depends on their legal department. And it's just so expensive to defend yourself, even though there's these guys aren't making a ton of money off these things, but you can't afford to fight it.
Of course. But very, very cool. Well, okay. I mean, you've alluded at it when you were talking about that you've been working with some programmers later. You wanna mention why that is?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you. Like I said earlier, I am a filmmaker. I direct independent films. The 4 films I've directed are Laughing Boy, Dead of Night with a K, Conjoined, and we're about to release Lars the Emo Kid.
Looking forward to that.
As a marketing tool, and I've been wanting to do this for years, and I just didn't know where to start. And finally one day I got motivated and did some homework and found the programmers page on AtariAge, the programmers forum. And I met a programmer named Jason Santucci who stepped up and wanted to work with me. And we've been making Atari games based on my films.
That is ridiculous. That is amazing.
I'm on cloud 9 about it because when I was a child, I wanted to be a programmer. I wanted to design games, but if you weren't already in that field or connected to it, you didn't know where to start.
I hear you. Sean,
Nowadays, kids want to make computer games.
Yeah.
Can go to. There's all kinds of schools to learn how to do it.
These guys aren't just programmers; they are crazy pants programmers because they are working with old hardware that doesn't have the advantages of current modern day tools. I'm sure the people like built some since then to help them with what they've been able to do lately. But
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are like hardcore hobbyists. I'm
right.
impressed.
These guys, it's my understanding that programming an Atari game used to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Now tools have been developed where you can write games in a program called Batari, which I think is basic Atari. So you can write, and I could be wrong. So if you're listening, research this just to be sure I'm giving you the truth. What I'm telling you is correct, but you can write. It's a basic program that converts to Atari language, and you can write games in BASIC, and then it converts to a code that Atari can read.
That is amazing. But of course, you still have to deal with the weird how many colors per line limitations and maximum sprite size.
Jason and I were going back and forth on what we can and can't do. I had these ideas in my head. I knew there were limitations, but he would kind of rein me in. No, you can't do that. You have 2 objects and 1 missile, I think is how he describes it. When you're talking about the bare basic games, and that's what we were doing. There are guys that are programming some incredible stuff right now. We were just working with the basic of the basic concepts and ability. Atari Adventure is, I guess, the level we're working at.
Not a bad game to.
No, but the simplicity of it.
Of course.
You have a character, you have the player, you have the object, and you have an enemy.
Yeah, that looks like a duck. Yeah,
quite exactly. So that's the level we were working at. That's simplicity. We were working at where there are other guys that are doing just some amazing stuff. But Jason said he taught me what causes flicker. If you have 2 sprites that interact on screen, you get that flicker. So he would say, try to avoid having any of these objects cross over each other. And when we did conjoined, there's no flicker.
But that's 2 objects crossing each other.
It's not really.
Yeah.
You play the guy, you don't play the twins.
Yeah.
So
wow.
we don't issue. But Dead of Night we did because you have there's other characters that you have to chase down, and if they cross planes, there's flicker. It didn't bother me because I was used to that with all the Atari games I'd grown up playing. Didn't bother me at all, but he was trying to avoid it at all costs. So I just let him let Jason.
Atari games are up to a much higher standard now than they were when Atari was making them.
Wah.
It's true though. It's
Atari, we know you're listening.
The homebrew games that we're talking about, the Star Castles, the Princess Rescues, the Halos, all they got. Yeah, there's a much higher standard. If you want to be successful in the homebrew scene, you have the standard. People are raising that bar all the time.
Yeah. And
I got
go ahead.
In another room here to see what other homebrews I can mention because there's just so many. But here's they did a Ladybug. AtariAge released an updated version of Ladybug by Coleco, which was never on the Atari 2600. I've got Zippy here.
Yep.
There's my Star Castle. The ColecoVision has a bunch of great ports and homebrews.
They've been porting a lot of games from the SG-1000 to the ColecoVision.
Yes, I bought Golgo 13 recently. Yeah. So yeah, there's some great stuff on the Atari 2600.
Oh yeah.
And if you, I do not own these, but Stay Frosty and Stay Frosty 2 are a couple of really great games. I think there's one called Toy Shop Trouble.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Amazing game. If those games had been around when the Atari was hot, those guys would be millionaires.
Oh, definitely.
You never would have had this market crash that killed everything in the mid-'80s. because these games are so good now. But like I said earlier, they don't have deadlines to work with, so they can perfect it. They can take all the time they want to perfect it.
And I mean, we're not just talking about, of course, about Atari here. I mean, people are making them for all kinds of other classic systems. There's tons and tons of them for the NES, the Super NES. Someone has finally managed to make homebrew actual Hue cards. Hue cards for the.
Yes, I bought that.
Wow, what? Really?
Atlantean, right?
Yeah, Atlantean. I bought Atlantean. It was like $65 or so.
That's the one.
That's a milestone in my mind that someone was able to create a Hue card.
Yeah, because I mean, there had been PC Engine people who'd done CD releases because it's not really copy protected, so it was easy to do that.
We produced that CD release.
Yeah,
cheap.
But someone
I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know what the cost is to make one of those Hue cards.
I can't imagine it's super cheap because no one else is doing it. It's tech that has been gone for, but I hope more people will do it. For a long time, if you wanted to make a homebrew game, you had to sacrifice a regular game. You had to, gut an old game, throw in some EPROMs or something, and that was how you do it. But like now there's ways that new games are coming in without destroying old games.
Right. People have molds for the cartridge casings now. You don't have to tear up the PCBs in the cartridge because there's a big enough demand that companies are manufacturing these things now.
It's very, very cool. I followed the Neo Geo homebrew scene for a while, although could never buy any of them, but things like Last Hope and Fast Striker and things like that, just amazing. Gunlord, they're just doing things with this hardware that are just amazing.
That's an incredible system to begin with. I can't imagine what the new games are like. I've had some friends that have posted that they bought the homebrew Neo Geos. I've never even, when I look at the prices, I can't.
You're looking $700-800 for a cartridge, but.
Right.
Just amazing things out there. Sean, you did some Dreamcast homebrew, right? You have a few of those?
Well, I was given a copy of Feet of Fury, I think. That was Dreamcast, right?
That's the Dance Dance clone, right?
Yeah, so I don't really remember where it came from. It was like a pack-in like at like a convention I went to. God, I want to say it might have been either one of the Midwest Gaming Classics or maybe even like PAX East or something.
It might. The Midwest Gaming Classic I went to with Ben was the one where they first showed it.
Okay.
And that's where I got an early copy.
So I have a copy, but I don't have any DDR pads for my Dreamcast. So
okay, Sean, I will hook you up because I have more than my house holds right now. one of them is like in my like wife's storage closet because I just don't have anywhere else to put it. You can have that one.
Okay.
So, we talked about the Vectrex earlier.
Yeah. Oh, Vectrex homebrew. Yes.
Vectrex homebrew scene is the most impressive to me.
I saw that
the homebrew library. The homebrew library on the Vectrex is larger than the original library of the game itself.
Yeah.
The original U.S. release library, I think, was 27 games.
Yeah.
I think I own 30 homebrew games right now, and I don't have them all.
Do you have that boxing one?
I do not have the boxing one.
I always thought that was really impressive. Yeah.
They just re-released it. I think you can get it for $60. I'm hesitant to get that one, but I'm probably going to have to just because I'm a completionist. And the Vectrex library is almost attainable.
Yeah.
There's a company called Fury Unlimited.
Okay.
That makes some incredible homebrew games, but he limits the number he makes. So if you don't get in right away, it's going to cost you.
Yep.
George did an incredible version of Cinematronics Warrior.
Oh, really?
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I know the game.
The bird's eye view, the two knights fighting in the castle. he did an incredible version of that, and he limited it to 150 cartridges. I was lucky to get in on 2 of them.
Okay.
And before I even got them, he's a one-man operation. It takes him time to make it. Before I even got mine, they were already selling for $300.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's
and
how
he's
that's how it is
he's
with a
released
lot
like
of-
12 games, and his initial Warrior was, I think, $70 retail because it involved a lot more. He printed the overlay, he made a box and all that
the
stuff.
overlay's got like the serrated sword and everything on it, right?
Yes,
Or-
and the lines where the pits are on the
Yeah.
screen. So he did a really, really good job
I
in
am
the presentation.
I am looking at it right now, and I feel bad knowing that I will never own this now.
His other games usually he sells at a very reasonable price for like $35. But like I said, he limits them, and if you don't get in right away,
Yeah.
it's going to probably cost you $100 just as soon as he says that's it, sold out, boom.
Yeah.
At least double.
Did
And
you
I know
still,
there
like,
was
work for
one game
Nike?
he had.
Jeez.
I don't know. I know there was one game he made called Hexed, and I don't think he said how many he was going to make, but he always limits. And then one day I got an email from his email blast. It says he's cutting it off at 50. Well, boom, they were gone.
Of course.
So what did that manufactured scarcity is what someone called that. And don't know how you guys feel about that as collectors, but I'm torn.
Not great.
If I get in, I like to see this stuff become more valuable, like most collectors do. I'm not in it for the investment, but it certainly makes you feel really good if you bought something for $50 and it goes up to 500.
I gotta tell you though, almost any retro gaming is a fairly okay investment these days, because even the most common of titles are starting to get up there. So.
Well, yeah, because people can't afford the big guns.
Yeah.
Everything that's cheap is going to rise. And I think there's some hype in that too.
I didn't have a problem with the scarcity until you told me that I can't own this Warriors game. So now I hate it. Now I hate it.
Challenge accepted.
Well, his website's furyunlimited.com.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go get on his email list, go see what this guy's all about. He's doing incredible stuff. He's making homebrew Vectrex games. He's making new controllers.
Okay, that's...
he made a steering controller for the driving games because they were all joystick in the past, and now you have one with a steering wheel.
Oh man, that's...
And there's
Anyway.
yeah.
Oh man.
But then there's programs like this gentleman's name is Christoph Tutz, and I'm forgetting he's in another country. I'm forgetting where off the top of my head, but he's got 2 games out and a third coming.
Yeah.
The 2 games he has out are Vectrexians, which is a really good Galaxian. And the second game he has out right now is Vector Pilot, which is my personal favorite Vectrex game ever made.
Really?
Yes, he did Time Pilot. It's Time Pilot.
Oh, okay.
And Time Pilot was a raster game, but of course Vectrex is a vector. It feels arcade perfect.
Really?
Improved on the arcade game. He added a level. The sound is spectacular. There's music that the arcade game doesn't. The music that the arcade had seems note perfect on the Vectrex. And he added to it. He added bonus scenes. You beat the 5th level of the arcade game. You get to watch a show before you go on to the bonus level, and then you can change your spacecraft after a certain point.
Wow, that's an incredibly ambitious sounding title for Vectrex.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And the one he's working on that should be coming out within a year is Vector Patrol, which is Moon Patrol.
Oh man, I love Moon Patrol so much.
No, it's going to be incredible. And Christoph does not limit the number he makes.
Oh really? So these ones you mentioned before are still available?
Still available. And I think he may, I don't know if he still does this, but he serialized the cartridges. You have a serial number.
Yeah.
But it's in the game.
Really?
It's not on the box. Your title screen has your serial number on it.
That's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. I'm trying to think of, like, from a hardware perspective, how you would even set up the. Oh,
I
I'm
guess
sure
when you flash the ROMs, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone is indeed unique, and if someone leaks the ROM, you know where it came from.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Unless I sell it to you,
Yeah.
hypothetically you, and then you rip it, but it still comes back to me.
It's like, hey, Joe, can I borrow that game for a couple days? Yeah, there's no reason. I just
right.
That's I just love when people are doing new things with old tech. That just it warms my heart.
And let me plug one gentleman, one programmer, Sasha Lubanow, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Okay.
He's also a Vectrex homebrew programmer. He does some really fun, simple games. Sometimes some of his games I can't even pronounce because they're in German. But his Facebook name is L Luchs, Luchs, if anyone wants to look him up. And Lukesoft is his company. He does some games that are limited numbers. He does some that are open-ended. So he does both. And he does real simple games that are really replayable.
That's the best kind of game.
Yeah, a game may last you 60 seconds, but you can play it again. You'll play it 50 times before without even realizing it.
Oh, that's cool. I'm amazed by some of these things, and but I'm also frustrated. By the inability to get a lot of these things. Right now, I'm trying to track down a copy of Street Fighter 2 for Virtual Boy. Yes, that's a thing. But no one officially ever sold it because of copyright.
Sure.
Right.
So it's kind of like a wink nudge type of situation to get one. There's some videos online. It's real, but no one can officially sell it. So it's going to be one of those really hard ones to acquire. But
it's funny you should bring up the Virtual Boy, because I was just thinking how I think the Virtual Boy has more official titles out for it than the Vectrex does.
No, Vectrex has a few more.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know. If you include the Japanese titles, I guess the Virtual Boy would be about... Well, how many did you say titles, Joe?
27, I think.
27, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the Virtual Boy was 23.
Oh, man! So close. All right. My memory is off. That was in the low 30s.
But anyway, I mean, I think there's a couple games that were released in quantities so low that you can almost not consider them a release. Like Virtual Bowling, I think there's 40 known copies or something.
Yikes.
So,
and then the completionist in you just goes crazy. It's like, gotta have that game.
Oh yeah,
that's when you start spending all your money.
I know.
When one pops up on eBay, you can't control yourself.
It's the completionist instinct is very, very dangerous, and because there's homebrew now, you're never really complete. So
I know.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna. Well, I can finally say no Atari 2600 collection is going to be complete without my games.
You're right.
Right.
Okay. Tell us a little. We kind of skipped around it, but tell us a little more about what type of games these are.
Well, these are, like I said, they're based on the films I've made that I've directed, and we really tried hard to stay true to the concept of the movie, which back in the day, a lot of licensed games didn't care. They didn't do that.
Yeah, very much.
Still today. Thanks, E.T.
Yeah.
MASH. And E.T. stayed true to, he was looking for his Reese's Pieces. That was part of the movie. So I'm not talking about bad. I'm just talking about the game concept, like Alien, the game, the 20th century Fox game Alien was a Pac-Man clone.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about.
That makes sense.
MASH. I'm not going to let MASH go. MASH, there's helicopters. You can do surgery. That was okay.
Did you do surgery? I don't remember
Yes,
that.
there was-
You
it was
gouge your own
basically
eyes
like-
out when you play
it
it.
was basically like Operation. Like you put the scalpel into this like badly pixelated person.
I
Try
guess
to
I never
avoid
gave the
touching
game
side.
that much of my time, because and you're right, it's helicopters and you rescue the people, if I recall.
I mean,
You're right.
I mean,
I'll
yeah,
give
you
Matt.
didn't brew hooch in from a still in your and you know.
But I guess just the example I should emphasize is Alien and that
Yeah,
type
that's a
of
good
thing,
one.
where
That's a good
it's
one.
just they just slapped a name on it. But we tried to stay faithful to the plots of my films with the games, like Dead of Night in the movie. Marla has the Amulet of Thorns, which protects her. In the game, while the knight's pursuing her and her friends.
Yeah.
In the game, you play the knight, and you have to kill each character from the movie who, in the instruction manual, tells you what they represent in the film. But when you kill all her friends in the first pass of the game in the order they get killed in the movie.
Yeah.
And then then you have to find Marla, but she has the amulet, so you can't kill her. If you kill her, the game's over. So when you see Marla in the amulet, you have to kidnap her. You have to grab her without killing her and drag her to the putt-putt castle.
Of course.
In the movie.
Yeah.
She gets kidnapped, she gets captured and held hostage at the castle that's on a putt-putt course. And when he brings her into the castle, then you have to fight the queen. And he didn't fight the queen in the movie, but to make the game fun, we have him fight, throw swords at the queen, which is a very fun level. So we tried to stay as faithful as we could to the plot of the movie. Laughing Boy, if you remember that film,
yes.
Cody gets invited to the party and nobody wants him there. So in the game, your paddle represents a glass door, and all these people are coming down trying to go to the party, and Cody kind of makes his way through the crowd, and you have to bounce him away while letting the other people pass you.
Oh, okay. I can see what type of game this is.
They don't want him in the movie.
Yeah.
They don't want him in the party. Got to keep him out. Then every now and then, red convertible appears and causes havoc.
Yeah. Is there a special combination you can put in that makes him throw his pants?
Yes, version. Yes, there will be.
All right.
Is there also a putt-putt sequence in this game?
No, there's not.
It's like a theme, though.
When we filmed Dead of Night, we tried to incorporate the babysitter from the putt-putt scene in Laughing Boy. Production just took so long, we started scrapping stuff we didn't have to have, so that got cut. But it would have been the exact same concept. She and her friends are at the golf course, and he's in the way. Probably would have been out of place.
Yeah,
in the movie.
For those who have tuned out for the last 5 minutes, we are making very obscure references to a set of films by our guest here, Mr. Joe Grisaffi. How can people see these films so that they can watch them, then return to this podcast after having seen them?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Conjoined and Dead of Night with a K are both on Amazon Instant. They should be appearing on Amazon Prime any day, and by the time this airs, who knows, they could be on Amazon Prime.
Okay. They're
on Vimeo. Conjoined is on a website called Cinevolt, Cievolt. Everyone has access to Amazon Instant, so that's probably the best place to go. Laughing Boy, I think, is still on Netflix DVD.
Oh,
wow!
I don't think it's streaming anymore.
Oh, okay.
I know it's still on the website as a DVD you can have sent to you. If you search YouTube, I think somewhere on YouTube I've uploaded the whole movie.
Yeah.
And we are actually, next week, we're going to redigitize the master and try to get Laughing Boy up on Amazon Instant as well.
Nice.
And yeah.
With the
contact me. All three of those are on DVD on Amazon, or you just find me on Facebook or starshipfilms.com.
With some nice director's commentary.
Yes. Oh, I'm direct cherries.
There are also a number of local video rental places that have these to be able to rent.
It's one of the. Yes, and I think you guys are responsible for helping us get into. Is it 5-star?
4-star Video Cooperative in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes, and
a number of public libraries.
Yes, anytime I travel, I will find, and I keep copies of the DVDs with me at all times. Every smart filmmaker should. Anytime I run across a DVD rental store, I will just walk in and offer to give them my stuff for free.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to buy it. They don't know these titles, and that makes perfect business sense to me.
And since
they're going to buy stuff that people are actually going to that they'll rent a lot of, and these independent films are get rented a couple times in their lifetime. But some stores offhand, if you're in Austin, you can get Dead of Night and Conjoined and Laughing Boy at Vulcan Video and I Love Video. All their stores should still be carrying it. In Dallas, you can get it at Premiere Video, and there's other places around the country that were kind enough to take it. Their names escape me at the moment.
Yeah. And gosh, and video stores. I wonder how long that will be a thing. But
it's sad.
I know
that they all go away. Maybe the retro, the desire for nostalgia will keep them alive. I think that's why the ones that are alive are still around.
Oh, definitely, because
going to the store and picking a movie is actually fun. I found that fun, as millions of other people did too.
Yeah.
But this is a world of convenience now. I mean, we were sitting around last night trying to watch a movie, and it was just pressing buttons. You want to watch this? You want to watch this? Then the internet shut down, and the movie stopped, and we couldn't get the channel we wanted to watch on Roku. The player wasn't compatible with that particular channel. It's like, okay, come on, just give me a DVD. So yeah, everything's very convenient now, but you have hiccups like that you can't, if your internet shuts down and you're streaming all your movies, you can't watch a movie. If all your movies are on your hard drive and your hard drive crashes, guess what? You may have lost all your movies if you didn't put them up on the cloud.
Yep.
And now apparently when you download a movie like that, you're just licensing it. You're not actually buying it.
You're speaking our language, Joe. We talk about this almost every week. But if people want to steal my movie collection, they better have like a forklift because it's all on Laserdisc. But yeah, those things will outlive me. That's awesome. So you've got the 3 games that are done coding wise. Do you have do you have an expected physical release?
I don't have an actual date. Like you said, everything is coded, and the games are done. I actually have, I think, 10 Dead of Night cartridges in my possession.
Oh wow!
we're still working on the package. I got eager and had some made. The game's done. We're not going to make any changes to the game, but I really wanted to sell it with a properly printed instruction manual and box and all that. So I sold some of those prematurely. I'm not having any more made until I can get around to finishing all the elements, but I've been working on the conjoined elements. I've got the instruction manuals printed. I got a little certificate of authenticity we're going to autograph for the people that buy the numbered copies. There's going to be 50 numbered boxed games.
Nice.
Beyond that, they're just going to be regular issue, no serial number or anything. So I got, even for those 50 people, I made lapel pins, limited edition lapel pin for. All I have to do with Conjoin now is finish designing the box in Photoshop, which I think is done. I just have to sit down and review it, and then send it off to the printer. who's actually in Germany. This guy named Mark O in Germany prints all the boxes for AtariAge, so we're going to work with him. I just don't know how long that process is going to take. You know, I don't know how busy he is. I don't know how long he takes to print. Then, of course, they got to get shipped back here.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a Kickstarter for it, but I don't want to do the Kickstarter till I have the product.
Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
People, as soon as it's over, I can start shipping. Like I said, the game is done. It's not pay me and then we're going to finish making the game. Game's done. Albert at AtariAge is going to make the cartridges. He's just waiting for me to give him the green light to start manufacturing them.
Well,
I don't want to be one of those Kickstarters that takes 6 months to get the product out.
If you're one of the Kickstarters that takes 6 months to get the product out, you're in the 1% right there.
Pretty much.
I've been on Kickstarters 3 years ago that I'm still waiting for.
True. Yeah.
6
months would be fine. Not bad. But I want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. If I can get the product to them right away, they're happy. They're going to talk about it.
Well, exactly.
And I want to be sure that, it's not about making money. It's about doing something I wanted to do since I was a child, which is design a video game.
Yeah.
And now it's to keep people aware that the movie exists.
Yeah.
And I think when the games start to show up, people are going to get curious and watch the movie too.
Conjoined should definitely be a double ender cartridge. I mean, just because
that would be fun.
Just put one of the other games on the other end, like the games that were released by what company was that? Mystique, was it called?
No, Mystique did the adult games.
No, but some of the adult games were double enders, which sounds really bad now that I think about that.
No, the double. I think that was. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, Zonox.
Maybe, yeah.
XONOX.
Yes. But I know they had a double ender.
Mystique should have been doing the double enders.
They did though. There was one that had like bachelor party and bachelorette party, depending on which.
Oh, they did double enders, and I'm thinking that's a sex toy joke.
Oh.
And you never put that in one of your movies.
Oh, never! I'd never,
never, not once.
Not laughing, boy. No.
No. But regardless, that sounds great. And when the Kickstarter does go up, let us know, because we'll mention it here on the podcast.
Oh, I thought you'll be the one first to find out.
That is.
I know the boxes. If I get Albert to if he starts making the cartridges soon, when I give him the green light, if I just have the cartridges, I'm good, because people know if I can show a picture of all these cartridges that exist, they'll know it's done.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting on the box. I don't have to have the boxes in hand.
Yeah.
To start. I just need to know they're being made, but it certainly would help to have a picture of a completed product.
Oh, I'm sure. So is your next movie getting a game as well?
Oh, yes. Lars the Emo Kid is going to get a game. We haven't started designing it. Jason and I have talked about it. We're going to do it. We just don't know what the game is going to be. And I don't want to start a fourth game until I at least get Conjoined out.
Well, yeah, of course.
I tend to get excited and start projects, and every project I start delays something I'm already working on.
Yeah.
So everything's going to get done, but I need to focus on what I've started. I need to finish everything I've started before I start adding to it. Adding more projects to my plate.
I gotta say, I really would love to see Lars the Emo Kid, because you've been doing a pretty good job of marketing it. These exclusive showings that I can't go to, and I'm just like, when do I get to see this movie?
Well, I'll get you guys a copy for No Brand Con if y'all are still involved with that.
Well, I live in Japan now.
I'm sure I could make something happen.
Next time I have a package for you, Kevin, I'll make sure you get a copy.
Oh, excellent! That would be great. That would be
acceptable for you to see it. It's Lars the Emo Kid. Is out of the movies I've made, I'm the most proud of.
Wow.
It's I think the others feel like real movies. They're real movies. They're entertaining. I'm proud as hell of them. But Lars, there's something there. There's something that sets it apart and is like another level. We made it we made it funny. We knew it was going to be funny, but we made it touching. wanted to make people cry, and I've seen people cry when they've watched it.
Oh man,
It's kind of special, and it's teenagers are going to identify with it and actually probably get something out of it more than just being entertained for an hour and a half. I think they'll walk away identifying with the characters, because I don't know if you know anything about it, but
Just
it's about
the stuff you put out, yeah.
bullying, teen suicide, peer pressure, and bullying is a big topic these days, as you know.
Yeah.
And what this movie does is it doesn't tell anyone, it's not preaching anything. It doesn't say anyone's right or anyone's wrong. It just says, here's what's happening. Here's how these particular people dealt with it. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's just happening.
Now I have no idea how you'd make a video game out of it.
The game will probably be something ridiculous, like Lars has to pick up razor blades. Lars has to pick up CDs, or
You invite controversy with your games. I was listening to you describe the Dead of Night game, and I'm like, there's going to be a YouTube video about this.
Conjoined. We didn't even get to talk about the Conjoined game. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, tell us what that involves.
Conjoined is a horror comedy about a guy who falls in love with a woman on a dating site, and proposes marriage without even having met her. Yes. So she shows up at his house with a conjoined twin. And he doesn't have the courage to end the relationship there, so he has to make it work. And we find out that the conjoined twin is a serial killer.
Spoilers!
That's the concept. It's pretty obvious. It's
If you look at the cover, I mean, she's got the knife.
In the game, you play Stanley, the boyfriend or the fiance, the husband to be. He's running around the house, up the ladder and across the platforms. He has to catch the nice hearts, the good hearts that his fiance Alina's throwing, and he has to avoid the broken hearts and daggers that her sister's throwing. You collect enough hearts, you get a surgical item. You collect all 4 surgical items, you get to the bonus level, the surgery, and you cut the girls apart.
Oh God,
Joe, if I didn't know you better and know that you do, I would say you're making this up right now.
Nope.
Chuck Norfolk and his brother Tim Norfolk are the ones that wrote the script for the movie. Yeah. So they made it up.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like that that they're game elements. It's just really,
I know, it's crazy.
Collect the surgical item.
Yeah, and the surgical items in the movie, we tried to imitate the movie again. Yeah. They consist of paper towels, an X-Acto blade, hedge clippers, and an iron to cauterize the wound.
Yeah.
Clothing iron.
By the way, people, I just watched this movie again today. Whatever. It's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, see if you can find it streaming or something.
I'm Conjoined on Amazon Instant. Yeah. If it's not on Prime yet, it's only $1.99 on Amazon Instant. Yep. It's an hour and 16 minutes, so it's not a long watch. It's nice and fun, and watch it with friends. It's even more fun when you're watching it with other people. One of the funnest moments I had with that film was when we showed it to the cast and crew and our friends. I got my parents to come see it.
Oh, no.
And I sat behind my mom, and she couldn't sit still in her seat. She was laughing so hard. And it's funny because people are actually embarrassed to say they liked it.
What?
It's because it's so bizarre. And when we were marketing that film, we played it off on the internet like we knew we made a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that kind of worked. When people finally saw it, they're like, "Hey, this isn't bad like you said." I said, "Well, no, we were trying. We wanted people to think it's a grindhouse bad movie."
Yeah,
but it's not.
The cover really, it's trying to play up that aspect.
Yes, exactly. So you got that. You caught that. That's exactly what we're trying to play up.
It looks like I spit on your grave or something like that, or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a Photoshop guy. I do Photoshop, but I don't do anything fancy. So I had to look up a Grindhouse poster tutorial on YouTube and just did what they said to do. Get this picture, cut it out like this so it looks like you cut it with scissors and change grade so you can see some of the dots in the black and white, and it worked. It worked. You look at the poster, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yes, we were born to play on this video game. Let's continue in a Famicom Dojo. Oh God, thank you for this video game.
Here's how it works. One of my friends comes by the studio, I pick their favorite movie, and we talk about it for 10 minutes.
Luke, why the do you like this movie?
Well, I'll tell you why the I like this movie, Rob.
Go get it. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's brilliant. Do it now or I'll punch you.
Up top!
This is 10 minutes about your favorite movie.
Listen to 10 Minutes About Your Favorite Movie every Monday on the Little Podcast Network.
Should we move on to Future Retro Pile of Shame?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's. Future Retro is a segment where we talk about contemporary video games that have the potential to be remembered as classics.
Or classics that we've played for the first time, or just more recently.
And in Pile of Shame, we talk about the games we haven't been playing and try to convince each other if we should.
Or not.
All right, Joe, since you are the guest of honor, you get to go first.
Last summer, was it last year? I think it was early last year, GameStop had a kind of a clearance sale where they were selling PlayStation 3 games for $10.
Really?
Yeah. And I stocked up. I went to every GameStop I could multiple times a week and bought game after game after game. And the funny thing is, I don't even have a PlayStation 3 yet.
Shame. What?
So I've got...
Well, if you get a PS4,
I bought
all the back. Oh, no.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. So I bought these games anticipating buying a PlayStation 3, which hopefully I'll do before the end of the month. I haven't counted, but I easily have 100 PlayStation 3 games that I haven't played yet. I think I might have 150 to 200. It didn't matter what the title was, whether it was junk or a bestseller, I bought it. I'm looking at the box right now. I got BioShock 2, BioShock Infinite. I got Catherine, but I paid $20 for that. SSX, End War, Chaotic, Shadow Warriors, Resident Evil, Two Worlds 2, Hunted, Resistance. I got all this stuff, and I haven't played it yet.
You will like some of those.
I know which ones I'm gonna like. I mean, I got the Batman Arkham games that were on the PlayStation 3 for $2.50 at that sale.
Yeah.
So I know I'm gonna love those. But there's also, I bought, for 99 cents, I bought the Golden Compass. Why did I buy the Golden Compass? It was 99 cents.
Yeah,
that's why I bought it.
Yeah, if buying games just because they are too cheap not to buy is a crime, then lock me up.
I'm guilty as charged.
I already have.
You show me a complete game that's not a sports game and for $1, and I will buy it.
Yep. Oh, let's see. I have 3 copies of this game already that I've never played, but look at this. It's $1.
This is how piles of shame are made.
Yeah, this is yes. That's quality shame. That is quality shame right there. I think your next movie to game should be an FMV game in the style of Dragon's Lair.
Oh, that would be fun. It did cross my mind in the past to try to make one of those DVD games.
Yeah.
Where you use a remote control to tell the character where to go next.
Yeah.
And that's the same concept as Dragon's Lair.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think they actually released Dragon's Lair as a game you could play with your DVD remote.
They did, and they did. I think I got Time Traveler from you.
Ah, yes, you did. Yes, you bought that from me.
So yeah, they did that. And the Dragon's Lair is fun to watch. It wasn't real fun to play with your remote.
That's true.
Just sit down and just watch it again.
But I have very distinct memories of playing Dragon's Lair at an arcade at a water park.
Yeah, I used to Dragon's Lair arcade game.
Really?
Yeah, in the 80s when the market had crashed, that's when I started collecting arcade games.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I bought a Dragon's Lair and a Space Ace. I had both of those at the same time, and I paid $80 a piece.
Oh, that's crazy.
Perfectly worked laser games that were at a Chuck E. Cheese, so there was no smoke, threat damage, or anything like that.
Wow.
They were perfect machines. I thought I was king of the world when I turned around and sold that Dragon's Lair for $450. I'm going to do this for a living. And now I wish I still had it.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. Did you know the last Laserdisc ever produced was the Dragon's Lair reprint?
What? Oh, was it really?
They were produced by iMation in Wisconsin, actually.
When
in
was
like 2003. Like quite late.
Well, that timing makes sense because there would be a collector's market for them.
Exactly. They're just people. Their discs were scratched. They needed replacements, and it was the last order. And after they were printed, the factory shut down.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know a little about laser discs, but yeah, that's this is a dangerous conversation because now I'm feeling the competitive edge because I know I have a bigger video game collection than Sean, but I do not have a bigger game collection than you, so I need to up my game.
I don't feel competitive. I know that feeling. There's a lot of guys in Houston who have these incredible collections, and I thought I had a big collection, but then I see pictures and talk to these guys, and it's like I'm just to them I'm a beginner, and I'm older than them. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. I just didn't save everything.
Yep.
When I started, I flipped, and I traded. Got tired. I didn't, and then was never in it for the money. Although I did, you make a few dollars here and there. Yeah. But the things I've sold over the years that if I still had.
Oh yeah.
I'm lucky that some of the stuff I didn't sell. We had this Facebook chat quite a while back, but I still have that Magical Chase for the Turbo Graphics.
Yes.
Still have that. And, that thing, the last I checked, was at like $1,500 just for the card.
And going up.
Yeah, so I'm not selling that. I know better now.
That's your retirement game.
Yeah, I got that. I got, if you're talking sports cards, I have 3 1986 Michael Jordan rookie cards.
Wow.
That I've had since I got them out of 50-cent wax packs. So I luckily I had people try to buy those off me over the years in the 90s. I said, no, I'm going to keep these.
Are baseball cards still a thing? I've been out of America for a long time, so.
They are still made every year by multiple companies. I haven't bought baseball cards probably. Well, I bought a couple of sets real cheap like 4 years ago, just like filler sets for $10. But I haven't really paid attention to the baseball card hobby since 1993. When everything, all the stuff I had that I at one time was worth something, at least a new car.
Yeah.
It's not worth anything now. Because everybody, we didn't know this at the time. It was the late 80s when I was really into baseball cards, but everything ended up being way overproduced.
Yep.
And of course, everybody hoarded them. Nobody opened their sets and their wax boxes and all that. So suddenly the market's flooded with them when eBay becomes popular.
Yep.
The bottom falls out of that market completely. Yep. Cards that were costing $400 or $500 at that time, you can get for $20 or $30 now.
Yep.
And I will actually every now and then pick one up because at one time it was worth that. It's like, well, at least I have it now.
I'll feel okay if the bottom drops on retro gaming again, so I can get some of the stuff I missed. So
And you wonder if that's going to happen because the older stuff wasn't overproduced, except for Atari stuff was.
Yeah.
But Nintendo stuff, not so much.
Yeah.
And there are so many people interested in the hobby now. It's not, if it does start to drop, it's not going to drop a lot.
No, I don't
Now,
think so.
I thought, several years ago, I started to sell off a lot of my Nintendo and game collection because I thought emulators were going to kill the hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm still shocked that they didn't.
No.
If anything, it helped because people can discover all these old games and then they want to go own the original.
You know what? I find a certain amount of comfort and joy in that people can look and go, okay, let's see, Little Samson. I could download it for free, or I could buy it for $2,000. I'm going to buy it for $2,000.
Hey, but that's the competitive nature of the hobby too. Like you said earlier.
I felt the same way when I heard Virtual Console was coming out. I thought a lot of it would drop there, but no, it just made those games that people had never heard of before more popular.
Right, and these YouTube guys apparently have an influence over what becomes popular. You got another? You got it.
What do you mean? What you video games are popular because of our video series, Sean.
I see.
Before that, people weren't really into retro games.
No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's fascinating that these guys have built up enough influence to affect the marketplace.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't think he was talking about us.
I know he wasn't talking about us.
No, it wasn't. But I don't know who these guys. I don't know who the popular video game YouTube guys are. But I know whoever they are, they have an influence over the collection. Oh, that guy liked the game. Let's all go buy it.
Yeah, that or that guy hated the game. It must be so bad. Let's buy it.
Go buy it. That guy reviewed the game. Let's go buy it.
Game, buy it. Yeah. All right. Well, no. So your pile of shame is every game for the PlayStation 3.
Every game is owned for the PlayStation 3.
All right. Sean, how about you?
How do I follow that?
I'll follow that. Mine's not so good.
Go for it.
All right. I'm writing an article right now for a magazine about some of the games by From Software that never got released in the United States. You probably know them from if for retro stuff for King's Field series, or for let's see, you were a GameCube guy, so Lost Kingdoms. No,
I was not a GameCube guy.
Oh, yeah, but they started pretty much PlayStation era, so I guess. They're not super retro, but now they're known for Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne.
Ah, okay.
Armored Core? No? Okay. But anyway, so for you, they're all new. Okay. But I was reviewing some of the ones that didn't come out in the States, and there's one on the Dreamcast called Frame Glide. It rhymes with glide, Grid, but my autocorrect keeps telling me it should be grid, but it's a very customizable giant robot game. When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Armored Core because that's the other one that they made, but it actually plays more like Virtual On. Do you know that game?
Yeah.
Which is another fantastic arcade machine that I would love to own someday. But it's just a giant robot battle game, but unlike Virtual On, where it's more arcadey, after each battle, there's just this deep level of customization in the game, and there's a lot of Japanese in the game, but there's some incredibly good walkthroughs made. So if you print out one of those guides and just have it with you, the actual game itself is arcadey, and if you can use a guide to get through the upgrade system, it's very, very import friendly, and that's what I've been playing a lot of these last couple weeks. So that's my future retro, my recommendation.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Well, that's good because I got a pile of shame.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we needed to put something less shameful because I could definitely do shame because this week I bought about 75 games.
I bought 25 today.
Oh yeah, you bought a bunch of PC Engine stuff today and really good stuff too.
No, I walked into a half-price bookstore and go, holy crap! $5, I'll take it all.
Yeah, like you were asking me some of the titles of some of these games, and I'm like, and you still had the prices on the games, and I'm like, take those off right away because you can sell them for way more. Just amazing. You got a Ghosts and Goblins in there?
Yeah,
that's crazy. How much you pay for that?
$5.
I hate you so much.
And these guys,
I live in Japan where this stuff's supposed to be cheap.
I know, and these guys are really notorious for overpricing their stuff. And I almost didn't buy it all. I just grabbed a couple that I knew were platformers or shooters that I could play without needing to speak Japanese.
Yeah.
And then I thought, no, it's just $5. I can get $5 if I don't any time for this stuff.
Yeah.
And I even asked them, what if I buy them all? Will you give me a discount? Oh yeah, we'll give you a 10% discount.
Oh, salt in the wound. Salt in the wound, Joe. You probably bought all those games for the price of Ghosts and Goblins. I mean,
no. I paid. I'm in for like $160.
Okay. Well, okay.
But it's not like a garage sale deal.
No,
but I know it's easily double that if I wanted to sell.
Oh no, that's amazing. But get the hardware to play those if you can. I know Super Graphics is going to be a little hard to find. Maybe you know what? Let's talk off pod. I can probably hook you up.
But good. We took up Sean's time.
Yep. So nothing for you this week.
That's okay. It's so much shame. Shame.
Give us your shame.
So I went to Most Gaming Classic last year. Got a whole bunch of things. I mentioned that there was a video I was going to do and never did during our shameful roundup.
Ah, yes.
The end of the year.
Shame rodeo.
Yeah. So I still haven't played one of the games that I really, really wanted to, and it's because a friend of the show, Alana, or is it Elena? I never know. Which it is because some
follow
people
her on Twitter. She's got some really interesting.
Retro Gamer Girls on Twitter. Very, very kindly put up some video of this game, and it's called Sama no Meitante. Kind of in the vein of like the Beat Takeshi sort of, we're going to take this comic celebrity in Japan and make a video game out of him.
Yeah.
And in this case...
He's still on TV, by the way.
He was old when I was in there like 15 years ago.
Because he's made of plastic.
Apparently, he would have to be.
But no, he still looks pretty young too. But yeah, he's got a show that my wife watches quite often. Anyway, continue.
One of his prominent physical features are like his very large teeth, which is also prominent on this on this cover art. But I did play it a little bit, but I really wanted to play through the whole thing, and I just never picked it up again. Never did that video. And I think I mentioned it the first time I brought it up on the show, but that title translates to Great Detective, but it's also a homonym with a different kanji for Inept Detective. And given what you know about Sanma, you can probably guess which it actually really means. But I believe it's a platformer. I don't remember. This is how shameful this is.
It's not. It's kind of like an overhead perspective type game.
Oh, geez. There's a lot of Japanese involved. There's a lot of reading, so I think that's part of the reason I haven't picked it up. But I really want to try because just the idea of it is just so hilarious to me. But yep. So shameful, I couldn't even make it interesting. Wah.
And you see, this is what I was talking about, Joe. That's why we need to replace Sean.
I know, I'm just
Oh,
losing
no.
steam here. I mean, I made a comment on last episode that I really need to get through some other games to like add a future retro, or I'm just going to repeat things and pile of shame, and I've already done it. It's already happened. I have been playing some games. I did start The Walking Dead. I did finish The Last of Us, but I wanted to group that in with like titles.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't finish the DLC yet, so I still want to
Okay.
do that. But like the main campaign I did, and it came with because I had the PS4 version. So
I picked up a copy. I haven't started it yet.
okay, yes, I recommend you play this game after you're done with all 3 Mass Effect games, of course,
Oh yeah.
because that'll happen. But it's been playing more like a Dimensions 2, so getting there little by little, and I'll be done eventually. To train your game, head over to our show notes at famicomdojo.tv/podcast for additional pictures, video, and bonus audio for this episode. Call us at 608-492-1923 to leave a voicemail for our Didn't You Mail episodes, or send us a comment on Facebook or Twitter at Famicom Dojo. Consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes, and be sure to subscribe to Famicom Dojo on YouTube for our latest videos about retro, import gaming, and more. Let's bring her home then, gentlemen. Thank you again to Joe for being on the show. We've talked about you. We brought you up like maybe 2 or 3 times relatively recently, so it's like let's stop talking about Joe and actually have him on the show.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you had me on. I love talking to you guys. I'll be on anytime you want.
Well, yeah. I mean, as soon as whenever you have a new project or something, just send us a line, and we'll talk about it. That sounds cool.
Maybe when the games actually we launch the Kickstarter, I can bug you guys.
definitely,
Yeah, that'd be great.
If nothing else, we're very good
It'll be
at
fun.
other people's Kickstarters before.
No, it'll be fun too. I'm really anxious for people to get their hands on these games and find out what they really think. You know, some people aren't going to like them just because it's the Atari, but then those people aren't. People that are going to buy it, or they know what they're going to be getting, and I think they're really going to enjoy it. I think, Dead of Night's an adventure game, so it's fun, but Conjoined and Laughing Boy are more arcade style.
Yeah.
To me, they're really fun.
I can't imagine that someone is going to buy an Atari Homebrew cartridge and go, "Whoa, these graphics, they're not up there. They're not up
Exactly.
there with Halo 5.
I'm anxious for it to get in the hands of the people who appreciate that stuff and find out what they really think. I think they're going to enjoy it. I think they're really fun games, especially. I particularly like the Laughing Boy game because it is challenging, but it is fun, and it really feels like an arcade game. Or at least it feels like a really fun game from that era.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a 2600 because it's before my time, but I will get one.
Make sure you get a ROM. Make sure you get a ROM.
Wow.
We'll probably after the Kickstarter, we'll release the ROMs shortly after the Kickstarter campaigns, I'm sure, so everybody can play it. I want people to play it. Great. Buy a cartridge. We'll make a couple dollars off it. Hopefully they'll watch the movie, but I really want people to play the game. That's you make these movies for people to watch them. You make these games for people to play them. It's weird thinking I'm gonna have some kind of legacy.
Yeah.
I've contributed. I've already found my name on Atari lists of games. Design, based on the film by Joe Grisaffi. It's like, that's cool. So I'm on a list. I'm always going to be on those lists. Something we created is going to be on those lists. People will want something we created because it exists. As a collector, it's going to be weird that now people are collecting something I made.
Yeah.
It's like I collect stuff that other people have made. Now someone's going to be buying something I contributed to. And that in itself is really rewarding.
Yeah. Now I want to make a game.
Right?
Sean,
we should.
Sean,
we need to
port our game to Atari.
We need to turn that 3-panel game into something really more than 3 panels.
All right, we'll get to work on that. We'll get to work on that.
So do you think it's a good translation from like a HTML5 canvas into a Atari Basic? Maybe not.
Yeah.
And
if anyone would like to see footage of Joe's games, he has a YouTube channel, just Joe Grisaffi.
If you can search the game titles with my name, Joe Grisaffi, Grisaffi. My YouTube channel is Hamburger Man. That's my YouTube ID, because you can find all of my stuff there, including my short film Call of Duty.
We've actually linked that on the website before.
I haven't seen that. Go watch
and that's
that.
Doodie spelled Doodie. Call of Duty.
We'd get a lot. Sean, we'd get a lot more hits for this podcast if we said that we have a podcast featuring the director of Call of Duty.
Right? Totally.
Try.
Is that a typo? Let's just listen to it anyway.
This might be great.
Speaking of Homebrew, I did want to mention there's a Kickstarter for this NES game called Super Russian Roulette. And just based on the video, I think they earned my money, even if the game is terrible and not really worth it. But it sounds like digitized voice, and I mean, assuming that's actual like gameplay footage they showed us. I saw that on Facebook today too. I'm going to check that out and probably contribute, because that
the Deer Hunter game you never knew you wanted. Okay, pledging.
And that's got to be so much fun.
Right.
I mean, my goodness.
Parties, aren't they selling it, promoting it as a party game?
Yep.
Yes.
So how interesting could it be playing by yourself?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, playing by yourself. That would be this.
It's survival mode. Just think about it. Come on.
The saddest YouTube video ever. Oh my god! I was thinking, what would Super Russian Roulette be? And I pictured it in my mind, and it is in fact that. Yes.
And we may have like a bit of a selfish motive for wanting to support this, because we want to eventually review the underlying hardware, and that would be a nice little get, I think.
Yeah.
To throw in there.
That is very cool.
Okay, so yeah, as Joe has said, please look up his stuff on Amazon Instant and Vimeo and various Texas and occasionally Wisconsin-based DVD rental shops. Check out our show notes. I'm sure we'll keep things updated in case the Kickstarter does come out. And once again, thank you, Joe, for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Always fun talking with you.
Alrighty, so then I guess until next time, the dojo is
soon to be available for your Atari 2600 home computer system.
Oh man, promises. Okay, let's get started.
Famicom Dojo.
The Famicom Dojo video game podcast is produced every week by That's Orange LLC. Our theme songs, Famicom Thrash and RPG, were written and performed by the Amari Tones. Find them on iTunes and at amaritones.net. Pixel art by Lewis Lloyd Judson at illustrations.co.uk. Find us at famicomdojo.tv/podcast, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or wherever RSS feeds are downloaded. And, of course, head over to littlepodcast.com to listen to other great shows on the Little Podcast Network.